Mincha? Yeah, it's the middle of Mincha. I have mamish felt guilty. I think by my that by the Simcha, Jed was Baltfili, he was masakin at a different moich and there's nice music. But I got upset at the Ebish, the middle of Shmonesher. You know what I mean? Davening for something. Mamish lost it. And I banged. I'm like, boom! I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna throw me out of here. You know, I got so upset. You know what I mean? I lost myself. I really did, right? Tzadikim, they know how to maneuver fine, even if they did have a bechin of tefillah, bedin, whatever that means. I'm not. And I'm saying, we lose ourselves. So you know, I can't say, I'm not a time, I can't say right now, I'm so upset that I'm not going to daven shachris, you know what I mean? No, yeah, because I have a moon, I don't think I'm going to daven, but am I always perfect? No, I get upset, I don't understand everything. Not that I have to understand everything, right? That's the chilek. These tzaddikim, even if they're going through whatever they're going through, right? They might be pain, right? But they're living with the Eibishter. They're living it so strong, and they don't. That's what makes them great. That's how they're misgaber over the. Doesn't mean they didn't hurt. I heard from a very, very, very good Vartaya from Reb Shore from America. He said from his father, Gedali Shore, he said the reason why our door is called Ikvis of the Mashiach is because our generation, that's what he said, is that we're like the calf of the skin on the ankle, right, on the bottom, is very tough and rough. That even they made it that way. Even if you walk on a nail, if it didn't go deep in, nothing even happened. It's just rough skin. You don't even feel it, right? He said we took away from ourselves the music of feeling. Right? Anything that happened to the person, everyone thinks that they have to brush it over. I don't feel it. No. He said, he said, the Heilige of Liv Sasha, he was going through such a horrendous yisurim that it was redifus. He said himself, for 2 years he couldn't daven with kavanas, so like barely made it to Pirsha Midas because of the tsar he went through. You're going to say the Heilige Baditcher, I should have just said, no. But see, he says, he made it. He didn't lose his money, he didn't think one other, but it was hard, it hurt him, you know what I mean? Tziyas is, but that's the Soid of Das that Moshe Rabbeinu gives us. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have an easy time. Moshe Rabbeinu had the craziest life from the beginning.
Can I ask the Rabbi a question?
Yeah.
Rav Shlomo Karbach says like Hashem's the sweetest of the sweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's like what the Rav is saying now. Like we're supposed to have an emunah on Hashem that he has a good plan. He has a plan for everything to be good. But like the Holocaust happened, the Rav said yourself, you're going through Nisyonos, everyone goes through Nisyonos, like Hashem's good, but like that doesn't mean he's sweet. Is Hashem the sweetest of the sweet?
It doesn't mean that it's not sweet. Our avoidance is to recognize the sweetness. It's an avoidance. It's not a given. It's a work. That's exactly the side of das. Okay. Yeah, that means the Eibush the pasuk in Eichel, right? Kimi le teitzerois. Eibush is the sweetest. Eibush is the only Eibush sends. It doesn't send out any bad. Doesn't send out any bad. What are you going to say? This what happens with the Munkatcher Rebbe? Mamish a year, not even almost a year ago. No, with DBR 2 years ago. We were in Munkatch last year after Sukkot, after Pesach. I'm sorry. And he was by the quorum of his Zayde, the Heilige Mensch from Munkatch. And he said, he taught me like a way out of daven. When Reb Nachman talks about tefillah, bedin, whatever, he was literally talking to his grandfather, Mensch talking to on the mic. Everyone was listening, and he's like, Zayde, I don't know what they're telling you up there in heaven. I don't know what they're telling you, but I'm telling you that it's not good. It's bad. You know, he was trying to cry. For me, it was like, whoa, everyone's supposed to always say, no, it's so good, it's so good. He was just being real because that generation was so real. No, it doesn't mean that it's just not sweet. No, there's something good about it. But right now, we're in the bad of it. Right now, we're in the suffering. Help us feel that sweetness. Bring us through. There's a big lesson out of that. Don't deny yourself. Someone's going through, a guy punches you in the nose. Oh, it was so sweet. My nose is broken. I have to go off for 6 surgeries, yeah? No, it hurt. My nose broke, you know what I mean? Fine, maybe there's a cheshbon, tikkun avoinus, beseder, who knows what, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Doesn't mean it doesn't have to be sweet. It can be sweet. Our avoid is, that's our avoid in this world. Our avoid is that we're here to be misaka, we have to tikkun. I mean, listen, this is already getting way too deep, way too complicated. But see, it's this, is this, right? That's what the Mefarshim say in Eicha, right? The David said, it comes down as good, but sometimes that good has to be bad to us, right? That's the whole story of Purim. The whole story of Purim, the biggest shmoiger in the Megillah, Machlok is right if it's at the end of the parak, if it's Achashverosh or Haman, right? But these guys, the worst thing, they caused the biggest bad for Klal Yisrael, right? Klal Yisrael, it was Nixar Betit, thing was over. And what was it? It was just, it says that Haman and Russia did accomplish what 48 Nevi'im and 7 Nevi'is couldn't do, right? Okay, no, then the biggest people couldn't do what Haman did. That makes him God Ladar. Like, what did he do? He brought us to Tshuva, right? He brought us to Tshuva. So yes, it was horrendous. You know what I mean? It was horrendous. The only Pesach Seder ever canceled in history was that year that Esther Malka canceled it through the Tainus. I'm saying, yeah, and yes, Holocaust is right. We can say that. We're not allowed to say, yes, the guy's going through Nebuchadnezzar, he lost who knows what. That's not, we're never allowed to go, guy can never allowed to come to Shiva and say, well, did you think Hashem? You gave me toast? No, throw the guy out, you know what I mean? Chas v'sholom.
There are some guys who are like that, it's such a shame.
No, if the guy knows how to do it, Shlomo Kalbach comes with the guitar to the Shiva, and it says, la, gaval, the sweet, you know what I mean? He knows how to do it, you know, we can't do it, it's not our job, you know what I mean? Our job is, you have to...
Think about it, before the Holocaust, also was very into forgetting Jewish identity.
A father, what do you mean? Read about Victor Miller, he says he lived over there.
Hiding away from it.
They were mamish selling out in Greusen. You know what I mean?
And after, it's
everyone, you know, had to rebuild,
Jewish
you know?
pride. It's
Yeah.
a thing now.
So I'm saying, of course it's great, but that's pshat, keep me eating l'teitzeres. Everything I do is good. It's translated according to your behavior. Yeah, they have the famous with the Rebbe Zisha. They came to the Rebbe Meilich and said, what does it mean that you have to bench Hashem? Right? Kishem Shem Vorcham El Ram Vorcham El Toim. He says, I have everything good. Go to my brother Reb Zisha. Right? The poor guy running around with rags and there's no food and nothing. Right? They came to the Rebbe Zisha. Yeah, he's like, I don't know. They're just so good to me, right? So why? But he's denying himself? No, he really lived that madrege. By him, he took you know, ich weiß nicht, you know, für Chanina Ben Doise was enough, Kav Charuv, ich weiß nicht, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's what we were discussing on the way to Reb Chaim Zlevaya. Will make somebody great. You know what I mean? He didn't have tzaras. Of course he had tzaras. Till the day he died. People don't know. He had a horrendous.
Was it hard for him to daven and to learn? Like he
had a horrendous. He had terrible arthritis at the end. You know that.
No, not physically. Did he still have
spiritual? So I'll tell you. Sfarim say it changes. The game changes as we go. The Torah has to be mislabish in different things. I'm sure.
Taivas, Mammon.
Maybe by him, I'm sure not, but I'm sure there's other things. It's shy. I'm saying. Yeah, but because it changes.
No, tell more about it nearly right.
Yeah, but really, what the song translate that is beginners. There's no when you go over to Reb Chaim and give him a free ticket to a very place. There was no taiva. Not even of course not. You have to know it translates different things. Like we know the famous story about one of the Talmidim Baal Shem Tov came. If you know who would say it, because I remember now. One of the Talmidim Baal Shem Tov came in front of one of the other Talmidim, and he said, "Oh, you Mechal Shabbos." He said, "What? Me? I was not Mechal Shabbos in my life." And he tried doing tshuva, and he chapped that he was Mavayish at Talmud Chochem, right? And it says that Talmud Chochem is Bechina Shabbos. So I'm saying in Gilui Reis there's also that kind of things. The Gemara has different things that are Bechina Gilui Reis. So it could be they have types in the sun, it's different things, right? But it changes. As a person that says that you also Gaber, you conquer that level. There's a whole new part of the pshat is that there's a new Yetzirah that it's much harder to recognize. Then the Yetzirah comes straight up. It's like body, znus. Yetzirah, you know? Then he comes up to you and he's like, covered, you know, and the covered Shabbos of Thursday night, you know, like he comes to this is good. He comes in different ways, and a person, the Chacham and Tzaddik has to figure out, like, oh man, what's going on? You know, that's what it says. The Reminder talks about the old time that the Tzaddik always, all the time talk about, but last week and this week, they're always being misboined in their meisim. Why don't we? We should also, but they have to be much more careful because our Yetzirah isn't really wearing a funny costume. I mean, it's straight up, you know? Straight up tight Yetzirah. Evil inclinations.
It's quite embarrassing in a way. It's
the same, but Baltani already says maybe that's our avoid. That's what we were created for. We're on the front lines, and we could be doing equal activity, just each one in our own level. But by the tzaddik, he has the guy. The Torah comes to him like, right, a big tzaddik, a big erlich guy with a long white beard, and mom looks holy. And there's stories like that. There's stories like that by big tzaddikim that they thought they was like the Gilui Elio. Right, big things, and all of a sudden they're like, "Whoa, you know, how'd I reach that level? You know, I knew I was holy, and I was that holy." You know, the mom was teaching him Stories of Tzadikim. There's a few stories like that, and then all of a sudden, like they're like, "1 second, I know myself. You know, I don't think I'm holding here. You know, I don't know if she comes learn with me, Chaburah. I think it's great people out there." And they went to their Rebbeim, and they're like, "Wait, you know, that was the Sitra Achra. You know, I mean, it's different stories. They have to. So therefore, it's God Mechaveroi."
You don't hear these stories. Can you like just
elaborate?
No. It's totally fine. I don't think it's.
Yeah, what's the story? What's the story?
The story you said, I read it the other day. Where was it?
Who was it?
Someone want to pass the wine, please?
Ready.
It's really delicious.
What do you mean, a fake
It's people who get caught in madreg. You know, there's a story. That, for sure, but that's pretty revealed also. There was
Yeah, it's
that
different.
was
It's not,
that was the
story
Rebbeinu
which is like,
Mashiach, yeah.
like somebody who
I'll tell you, it was a
somebody
story.
we know who just like thought he had Eliyahu and then he found out it's a kiddush. Why?
There's a story the Kretschner Rebbe just said over, yeah?
Sorry.
You make the
Sorry.
Kiddush. It's good, it's good. You Mekadosh us. You hear this? There's a story I just heard, and now I know I'm going to repeat it over here. There's a story with the Heilige Rebbe of Meilich. Mamish brings it, Eli, I think this is what you were asking. I think Hashem wants me to say this story. That's what you're asking.
Hey, Rabbi Eli Melech of Lijan. Rabbi Eli Melech of Lijan.
That's a little more beer. Yeah, just a little bit.
Hey, we are on the way to you. Rabbi Eli Melech of Lijan. Oh, Rabbi Eli Melech of Lijan.
Heilige Rebbe of Meilich.
We are on the way. Oh, jump in a fire for Hashem. Would you jump in a fire for Hashem? Would you jump in a fire for Hashem?
So, Rabbi said, 1 second. So,
Shy type of guy.
So there's a story at the Heilige Rebbe of Meilich which Mama shows this thing. There was it's a little bit of a long story, so I think this might be the Malkum the Torah, but maybe that's what for sure, because I feel that what you said, you want to hear a story, Mama on this topic happens to be this in you. So the story goes like this. It starts like this. There was a very Tamimish Talmud, a chassid, student of the Heilige Rebbe of Meilich Lezhensk. Very, very simpleton, a true simpleton, like the pure simpletons from once upon a time. And he was very holy. He was a true student of the Heilige Rebbe of Meilich. And one day, the Heilige Rebbe of Meilich told him, he called him over, and he said that I have to send you away. I'll leave you. Sorry. And he said that, I'm sorry. Okay. And the Heilige Rebbe of Meilich said, it came time, I have to send you away.
Thank you to be accepted.
And he said that I'm telling you the first shidduch that comes your way.
Do you mind if I look away?
Yeah, you good to see him. The first shidduch that comes your way, he says you should go for it. Till the end, marry her. Fine. So he didn't understand why the Rebbe sent him away, but he was a chassid Tomim, and he said, if the Rebbe sent me, then I'm out. And he just went. The Rebbe said, go, you go. Anyways, he came to a place where there was a kretschma, as was back in the days. They have kosher kretschmas run by a Yid. And he comes inside, he wanted a place for the night. He comes to the kretschma. This kretschma had been a pretty lebendige kretschma. And there was a group of latzanim who used to hang out there every night after the work, drink, get a little drunk, make jokes, batlanim. The Jewish, it was a kosher kitchen. And it happens to be that the Bala Kretschma, who was a pretty solid guy, he got to Yerushalayim, happened to have been out of town. And the jokesters that were getting drunk, they saw, all of a sudden came this Tamimish looking bacher. Mamish looked like he didn't know from his right to his left, his left to his right. And they're like, you know what? Let's have some fun. This guy doesn't look like he knows the difference between, Tuesday and Sunday. He says, we know that the Bala Kretschma has a daughter. Let's make fun. Let's have a good time. Let's get them married. How are we going to get them married? So let's make like we're big shatchanim. We'll go over to the lady that's running the show now. Her husband's not here. And we'll say, listen, you want to make a lot of money? And she'll for sure say yeah. And we'll say, let's make a makhasana. And then everyone will come for the meal, but everyone has to pay for the meal. And have to pay for the drinks, and they make a lot of money. And, she was a very simple lady. She's like, okay, sounds like kosher fun, why not? So they go over to the chassan, and the chassan, they're like, Bacharul, you look like a great catch. We have a shidduch from you. And he says, oh, this is exactly what the Rebbe said, the first shidduch. They go over to the girl, and they say, listen, we spoke to your mother, we found the Bachar of the century, and you guys, let's make a l'chaim, let's get engaged. Tamim Shechever, in those days there wasn't much dating. That was it. The mother was saying, okay, no problem. They got engaged. And they're like, listen, they got engaged. They take off to the chassan, they go to the kala, they say mazel tov. But why wait for a long time? Who knows? Who knows what can happen till you wait for the time of chasana? It's so exciting. Let's just make a chuppah and you guys make a kedushin and get married. And the guy that's what the Rebbe said. That's what the Rebbe said. The Rebbe the Meilich told me. And the Kal doesn't do anything better. And, they put up a chuppah, they bring one of the Latzanim to be Masad Kedushin, and they arrange a ring, and the Chassan with Tamimis Pshitas, he thinks this is it. He makes a proper arayat, there's a real chuppah, there's a real Kedushin, they are legally married, they're Chassan, Mazel Tov. Deborah, anyways, so then they call the whole city, and everyone comes and pays for their meal. The lady made riches, and she's emptying out all the alcohol. She's mama's raking it in. Everybody goes home for a good night. In the middle of the night, the husband comes back and it's like, what's this mess? And she says, wow, dear husband, tonight was a night, you have no idea, it was so geschmack. We made enough to cover Yom Tov and Pesach and Sukkot and Shavuos. He said, what happened? He's like, we made somebody had an idea, we made a mock wedding. He's like, what? What'd you do? What, mock wedding? He's like, yeah, it was a bocher and this. And what happened? And they had a chuppah. What happened? And he said, Ariyat, what happened? What do you mean, mock wedding? That's Kedushin. Our daughter is married. Oy vey, what do we do? Who's this guy? And he comes downstairs and he sees this Tumisha guy dancing all night long. He's got married, everything in one night. Everyone wants to do that, right? Yeah, engaged to the chuppah one night. He's all excited. And this guy looks and says, what? The tzonis. He says, who are you? Yeah, he says, who are you? What are you? He says, the Rebbe Meilich sent me. He said the first shidduch, and I listened. I went there. We got married. Who are you? How am I? I'm not telling you. You come with me. And he says he doesn't know what to do. They need a gittin. This causes for gittin. So he says, but wait, he does have to make sure this chassan doesn't run away. So this guy was quite successful. He had a big kreitschman. There was some property in the back of the kreitschman in the forest. And deep in the forest a little bit, there was a little haskala, like a little hut, that the people in the city said that is full of the shindalids hang out. Like nobody ever deer. There was always funny noises going on. It was like a spooky house. He's like, I'll take this guy. I'm going to throw him in there. And then tomorrow I'll call Seifer and call the Rav, and we'll just free my daughter, this crazy trick. Anyways, he says, come with me. I want to show you my property, my son-in-law. And he brings him to this Haskalah. Right away, ties him up, chucks him in, locks the door, and runs back home, mamish. And his next day, he goes to the Rav of the city, and he says, late till the tonnes what this guy's made, and my daughter needs it. And he goes to the Haskell to get his newfound son-in-law. Opens up the door, the guy's gone. Guy's gone.
Good.
And he's like, I'm in big trouble. My daughter's in big trouble. She's in Aguna. There's not about, they had a Kedushin. He's not here. What do I do now? He says, I got to go to the Rebbe Meilich. That's what the Chassan said, to the Rebbe Meilich. I don't know who this Rebbe Meilich is. He did this thing. I'm going to Lezhensk right now. I'm going to take it up with him. Okay, pause. In another city at the same time, there's a big oisher, a big vir, a mamish, a multimillionaire. And then back in the days, the big vir used to go to the yeshiva and they bought off the best guy in yeshiva. They came to the yeshiva in the big cities, and they say, I need the top guy. I'm going to support him, build him a house, give him my daughter, I'll be able to sit on her for the rest of his life. Who do you got? And then she would get a good tip, and it was kedai. He would take, those just bachling them any money, they were learning in yeshiva, Mesias Nefesh, and it was good for everybody. So he says, actually, we have a very, very, very top bacher. This guy's a big baloivid, he's a big balavoida, he's a tremendous tam chochem. Take him. Fine. Says, Shalom Aleichem, come with me, you got to get married to my daughter. This is Baratzen. He comes and he keeps his promise. They get married. He gives him a little hut, a nice place, and he's giving him to live. And this guy's living it up. This chassan is living it up. He doesn't understand where this good mazel came from. He got the richest shver. He could sit and learn yeshiva das. And he says, I owe to the Eibush the big time. And he says, I think I got to become a balavoida. I got to start making sigufim. I think it's time. Maybe I would. I need a new chavrusa. Maybe a navi should learn with me. Maybe big people, I'm not stuck. I have an opportunity, I can learn all day. So he said, he remembers, he learned that if you fast for 40 days, he's like the Gilelio. So I'm a holy guy. I'm learning that. It's not for nothing that he took me as his Adam. I'm a holy guy. I'm going to sit, I'm going to learn, I'm going to fast, and everyone will be proud of me. And I'm going to be Zaycha the Eliyahu Navi, and we're going to chill together. So he starts fasting, and he's mamish the guy who's kicking in. He's like, this is the holiest thing in the world. I'm supported, I'm learning, I'm on the way to see Eliyahu Navi, I'm fasting, mamish, crazy stuff. All right, his wife doesn't look so happy, but he doesn't care. Eliyahu Navi, I'm going to learn, I'm going to get my dragas, I'm going to be Zaycha. And he's really doing real avodas. He's really learning, for real. Really davening, really fasting. You know, his mamish, 40 days come and go. The guy's a wreck. Eliyahu Navi never came. You know, he's mamish, it's not working. And he doesn't know. And he tells the Shver. Shver's like, well, what's up with you? He's like, listen, you know, you got the tabocher, right? He's like, yeah, I know. He's like, well, I mean, I know how to say this in a nivistic way, but I'm working on learning b'chavrus with Eliyahu Navi. He's like, wow, whoa, this is big stuff. I hate him, really? You know, Navi? He's like, yeah, technical difficulties. I got to figure out. Something's not working out. He's not coming to Seder. Eliyahu Navi's not showing up to Seder. You know, b'chavrus is not working out. He says, maybe I heard that the Rebbe of Meilich sees Eliyahu Navi all the time. I got to go talk to him. Let's go together to the Rebbe of Meilich, pay for a nice buggy, go to the Rebbe of Meilich, see how come I wasn't Zoycha. Fine. Turns out, both of these characters show up at the same time. The first guy that lost his son-in-law and left his daughter in Laguna, and he's ready to have meet with Rebbe Meilich, making this prank, he thinks, right? And at the other hand, this guy is coming with his son-in-law who's Mamish Mashiach. He's, he isn't showing up. Like, what's going on? And they both come the same day to the Heilige Rebbe Meilich, and it happens to be that they came in at the Kufa where the Heilige Rebbe Meilich would do such a thing. He would lock himself up. Like we was waiting, nobody. There's no wind, there's nobody that was able to see him. He was busy making avodas, rectifying Nishmas Yisrael, Klal Yisrael. So the rich guy's like, listen, let me pay my way in. They're like, listen, the Rebbe Meilich is not seeing nobody 2 weeks. You got to wait. The other guy is like, listen, I don't have time. What's going on over here? My daughter's in Aguna. I got to see the Meilich. They're like, too bad. You got to wait. Anyways, the mamish waiting during this time. One day, all of a sudden, the Rebbe Meilich says, call everybody that's waiting in. Call them all in. I'm like, well, this is very interesting. The Rebbe says everyone should come in the middle of this thing. And they all come in, all these people. And the Rebbe Meilich starts giving a shmuz. He says like this. He says, there's some people that have a false idea of Avodas Hashem. Kula Baruch HaKodesh, never met any of these people. There's some people that think that as they're trying to send madregas of, Gedoylei Olam, to, try to get Gilui Eliyahu and Navi, they forget the essence of who they are, and meanwhile they're abusing their wife verbally, physically, because of the Tanesim, and because of their false, messianic ideas of who they are. And this young man that just got married starts shaking like a leaf, the secrets out in this little hut as he's trying to sell Navi without getting good dinners and trying to get madregas. And again, he was abusing the garbage out of his wife. And the Rebbe Meilich is like, that's not a derech fakir, that sends away the Shechina. And the Shver is looking at his son-in-law, and his son-in-law is looking at his Shver, looking at his eyes are bulging out. He's like, I get you. And meanwhile, he says, and on the other hand, there's some people that mamish. I'm sorry. 1 second. I messed up the story. 1 second. Back up. Rewind. Oh, you forget what I said. Because the Rebbe Meilich said there's some people that mamish. They're looking for big avodas, and he said we'll hear where their avodas bring them in a second. He said, meanwhile, the other people, I'm not sure when that they don't have a munis chachamim. They don't understand that tzadikim say something. They know things. So he turns to the guy that the prank was pulled on his daughter, and he said, what if I tell you that min shamayim, before they were born, right? They were mamish. This is the zivug of your son and the son-in-law. But I knew that now the way it is, this guy being such a pashut guy with no money, the shidduch will never be. So therefore, I saw that you're not there. I saw the shikurim were all, and I'm going to bring him back here right now, and he's going to teach us how to serve Hashem. How to really serve Hashem. So the Heilige Rebbe Meilich says, whatever his name was, Moshe, you come inside, and all through the rafters, boom. This chusin that got married for a few hours.
You got to rewind. We lost on the track.
Where are we?
30 seconds back.
We have to remind. Anyways, so let's rewind. So the Heilige Rebbe Meilich starts saying that he calls them in and he says, some people have the wrong idea of what it means to try to gain madregas in the Gilui Elyon. He says, let me tell you something. And the other one, because I saw in heaven, I knew that your daughter and this fellow that I sent to the Kreitzma, they're a true Zivik from before Bris Oilem. But I knew because this that it's a good idea to send them and like this they'll get married. But because you locked them up by the other side, so the other side did steal him. But now I'm going to bring him back and we'll hear from him what goes on. What happened? Anyways, he says, Moshe, you come in and through the rafters, all of a sudden this disheveled looking, beaten, never chassan for a few hours walks in, mamish, and he's like, whoa. And the Heilige Rebbe of Meilich says, where were you? He says, I got thrown into the other side. Physically, mamish, mostly, mamish harassing me. And he said, and what did you hear by them? What happened? He said that the Shindalids are Pasha making Latzanis of B'nai Adam. Mamish making Latzanis of B'nai Adam. He said, what's the Latzanis? He said that the Shindalids decided to pull a prank. And they went into the gut feeling of this Balavoida that he has to get Gulei Anovi. And why does he fast through Tanesim and Tzigufim? Why is he getting Tanesim and Tzigufim? Guy lost his character traits, lost his midas, and started whipping his wife silly. And verbally also. And Mamish, and that just kept the Shechina away, and he was getting more distant, and he kept to make more Tanesim, which kept to make himself lose more and more and more. And they were enjoying it so much. And after he's Megala that, so of course this chassan that was trying to get Madrigas starts shaking in his pants, the secret's out, the way he was, his Shalom Bayis was going on, in his fancy hut with his big Madrigas. And this guy is saying that the Shindalids like to cause a lot of problems and, break the stature of Bnei Adam. And what happened was, the Rebbe Meilich said, but if you really want a derech tshuva, which is the ikka of the Rebbe Meilich, is a tshuva, real tshuva through his dapkas to tzadikim, to learn the real ways of avoid and dveikus and Hashem. And he told the other guy that this is really your son-in-law, and he's a great guy and a great neshama, and take him back and give him respect because this is a true civic min Hashemayim. And Kachava, they were both taken care of. This guy that Taka missed his daughter's chasana. It was his mazel, but the fact is, the Heilige Rebbe the Meilich was able to reveal in a very revealing manner the truth and what happened, brought back the guy that was missing, so you saw that this is real monkey business. This other guy that really, wanted to serve Hashem, that was mamish, fell off the beaten path because he was beating other people, especially his better half, how to really get Gulei Anovi and how to become a Bal Madrega. And that's how it ended peacefully. They both went home, l'chaim l'shalom. But the Matzin says there is that musik that a person thinks that he's in a big, I'm for sure not getting personal, not getting personal on me, but sometimes you see when you deal with people, guys get a big or. So sometimes there's an or, and then we know Derech Eretz Kod Matar. If the or is with Midas and Derech Eretz, so the or is real. The guy's man, started doing big holy avodas, but he's still a mensch. So then the Olim Yayadam. So then that the guy is for real. All of a sudden, the guy's becoming too holy. And he starts, forgetting his midas. That's caught by the Shindalids, and they're laughing their brains off at us. You know what I mean? And their mamish, that's not the right way. The person starts thinking that he's mamish becoming holy by chas v'chalila, belittling the world. That's not the true avodah. True avodah is realizing fakir. The more a person realizes the chashivas of every person, right? The greatness of every person. As a person really becomes greater, he realizes how small he is and how great everybody else around him becomes. Then that you're becoming great. As a person, right, that's a Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, everyone asks the famous question, Moshe Rabbeinu, how was he able to be Anav B'Kol Adam? I don't know, anybody else was able to be learning B'Chavrusa with the Eibush to 40 days and 40 nights, But Shlam Kisviller and others all say that fakert, because he was up in heaven and he saw the godless of every single Jew, he's like, whoa. Every Jew especially came back down. He didn't think like, wow, I'm the Chaburah of Hashem. He's like, I saw the Shorish, I saw who you are, how great you are. That's a symbol of a true tzaddik. That's a symbol of someone that's really grown. Person, right? The Tzadikim always said that a symbol of a true tzaddik is he has Ahavas Hashem, Ahavas Torah, and Ahavas Yisrael. If you're missing the Ahavas Yisrael, then you got to doubt the Ahavas Torah and the Ahavas Hashem, because it's a trio that goes together. Lamaisa, how does this all come together? We have to just tie it in with a little parashah. So